Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another week of Launch Codes Football. I'm Daniel,
And I'm Chelsea.
and this was a great preseason week one. This was amazing. We watched so many hours, so many games all happening at once. Chelsea, what was the one game that you just absolutely couldn't take your eyes off of?
Oh, all of them.
Yeah, like that first one and that second one, and the whole
That third one was pretty good. No, honestly, I was so busy this weekend, I didn't even watch any of it live, which is very unlike me.
yeah, honestly, and I was relatively busy, but also don't have much of an interest in preseason, which I was listening to one of my favorite sports shows, like the Levitard show, and someone made a good point. They're just like preseason is weird because you don't, there's just no winning it. It's like if your team plays well, you're just like, oh, who cares? It's preseason. And if your team plays bad, you're like, oh God, we're so bad, and it's only the preseason. You're just hoping no one gets hurt at that point.
Yeah, I feel like if there's one big thing that you can take from preseason, I feel like generally speaking, it's usually the performance of rookies. Now, obviously, you can't put that much stock into it because they are typically not playing first stringers, but especially like lower end guys like rounds 5 to 7 and undrafted rookies, like if they show out in the preseason, I think that that matters more than if Christian McCaffrey has 100 rushing yards and a touchdown. Like we already know that he's going to do that.
If the 49ers are dumb enough in their crazy step on the crack, black cat cross your path, start Christian McCaffrey during a preseason game, then
That
no,
would be really dumb.
they just and yeah, I guess that's fair. Like in terms of you're just focusing on the rookies, and honestly, the three we're gonna talk about four different QB performances, and three of the rookie QBs, they looked amazing. Like
Yeah,
it,
and I will say, I think it's also players that got hurt that like maybe missed their first season or their first 2 seasons. I watch for them in the preseason to kind of see, but mostly the rookies, but only some of the stats of rookies. I feel like if you read too much into it, you'll just get caught up in the weeds, like all the Colts fans did with Anthony Richardson when he was a rookie.
all the Colts fans who just couldn't stay
All
not
two of us.
who still had hope for Anthony Richardson. And I don't know why we're bagging Anthony Richardson. He's like out of all the quarterbacks from this past preseason week one, he was probably the only non-rookie quarterback that was like, okay, he showed a little something. He went 11 for 14, 145 yards. And he did throw an interception, but it went right through the receiver's hands, honestly. It was
Yeah, there's the interception wasn't his fault.
And he ran 6 rushes, 53 yards, scored a touchdown, but he did have a fumble loss. So honestly, one turnover, only had three incompletions. That's a very good Anthony Richardson. Like I,
Yeah, yeah. Compared to what we're used to seeing from Anthony Richardson, honestly, statistically, it was a good performance. Honestly, the thing of this whole stat line that I pay attention to the most is his completion percentage. Because that has kind of been his bugaboo since he came into the league. He just has a terrible completion percentage over the course of his NFL career, like embarrassingly bad. I think it's below 50%. Not good. So that I look at and I think, okay, that's like a lot better than normal. That's pretty good. The interception wasn't his fault, went off Coleman Owens' hands, so I don't fault him for that. The fumble, that's Anthony Richardson for you. You know you're gonna get a mixed bag. You're not sending Patrick Mahomes out there with 5 touchdowns and no turnovers. Like you know that is just part of Richardson's game because he's an aggressive runner, and sometimes he doesn't like check his blind side, so he'll get rocked. So I mean, it's just part of his game. And then the rushes, looks good. 53 yards on 6 runs is pretty good. So I mean, generally speaking, it was a good stat line. I mean, don't get me wrong. There is a large emphasis on large contingent of Colts fans still to this day holding out hope that Anthony Richardson is going to pull it together. And I'm like, guys, he's not. At
oh
least not here. Now, maybe if he went to the Rams or if he coached, was under a LaFleur or if he went to the Niners and sat, maybe. Maybe he needs to go somewhere else and it could work out. I just personally don't foresee it working out at this point. I mean, the reality is, a lot of us kind of had rose-colored glasses on when he was drafted. He was very raw when he was drafted. The hype that he got was from his potential. It wasn't really from his performance in college, if we're being honest with ourselves as Colts fans. And I was one of those people. I was like, oh my gosh, he's massive. He looks like Cam Newton, and his arm is so strong. And oh my gosh, he can run. This is awesome. No.
I
Like
li-
he's just raw. That's just his reality. So, you take what you can get. If he can play like this, I think he'll make a good backup. If for some dumb reason
well,
he dethrones Daniel Jones, which he won't because Daniel just got that extension, I would not be comfortable playing him as a starter. But if he plays like this as a backup, I'll take it.
well, I also like how you said like, and Colts fans who are still on the bandwagon, like, yeah, Chelsea jumped off that bandwagon probably at the beginning of last season. But no, in terms of
Yeah.
if he plays like this is granted, if he plays like this is a starter. This isn't even like a backup, like from just strictly
Yeah,
numbers.
that's
Uh,
true. I mean, he
yeah,
wasn't playing against starters though, so that's why I feel like you can't
yeah.
put too much weight into it. But he
He
still played well.
he at least saved himself a spot on the NFL roster for for
Oh
another
yeah,
year or two.
for
Like
sure.
honestly, after the Sam Darnold thing stuff, like I'm not ready to give up on anyone that's like a raw giant talent like he is. And
Yeah.
if his biggest issue is being raw, then that just comes with time and experience. But we go from your former favorite quarterback to your current favorite quarterback, Fernando, and he
Fernando.
exactly. Chelsea's a singer here. I'm not the singer. Um, I think they said he was the first rookie to throw a touchdown pass in his first preseason game since Baker Mayfield back about a decade ago. Man, Baker's been in the league for about a decade. That's crazy.
That
But
is
yeah,
crazy.
10 for 16, 97 yards, a touchdown. Him with Jeremiah Love, who had a solid first game before he got injured and it's probably after the preseason. Like the two rookies, they looked very good. And honestly, the big thing that impressed me for Fernando is just he looked very poised in the pocket. He checked that. It wasn't like he was just starting for his first read. He looks like he's going to his second, third guy. Granted, again, it's Arizona, and it's not just Arizona, it's probably Arizona's backups, but I can't expect better. Like, if this is Fernando Mendoza, this is a really good rookie quarterback. Now, let's just say this is his first game against a team of backups, but that's all he can play at the moment.
Hey, I mean, for a lot of rookie quarterbacks, a lot of them come in and in their first couple of preseason games, even if they are high draft picks, a lot of them just look bad unless you're Lamar or Joe Burrow. But I mean, even someone like Josh Allen, I mean, he wasn't good his first year. Someone like Patrick Mahomes, he didn't even play his first year. So when you have someone who comes in and, puts up a decent stat line, I mean, it's not like blowing me away. 10 for 16 for 97 yards. I mean, no one's going to sit here and be like, oh my gosh, that's the best quarterback stat line I've ever seen in my life. Like, no one's going to say that. But the fact that he went out there, he looked poised, he threw a touchdown, which, half the comments are, why are we gassing this guy up? This is a touchdown any quarterback would throw. And it's like, that's not what it's about. It's that he's a rookie. It's his first time playing against NFL players, and he did it.
It
Like,
was a good
it
pass,
looked
too.
good.
It was a
And
good
it was to
pass.
Jack Beck, which I have heard from Raiders fans that apparently they are looking up on him this year. It seems like he might be a contributor in the offense this year. So, maybe that ends up being a starter that Fernando threw the touchdown to. We don't know. But I really think if you're a Raiders fan, you're used to being terrible, and this wasn't terrible. So you really can't ask for much more.
Why is Raiders fans taking just a random? Raiders fans, you take what you get and you'll like it.
They also drafted, was it in the second or third round? They picked up a running back as well, who apparently also flashed in preseason, I think it was, who might be a nice 1-2 punch to GT, which would be interesting. I really don't think the positional skill players on the Raiders are bad. Like their receivers aren't blowing me away, but their tight end is awesome. Their
Yeah.
running backs are good. Their quarterback is good. Their O line, we don't talk about that. But some of their positional players actually have talent. I mean, I don't think they're going to like win their division or anything, but they might win more than 3 games.
Yeah, they're not going to be the worst team in football. They're going to be a
Yeah,
solid
I
team,
agree.
but they're still not going to be like
They're
a
not going to
good
be a playoff
a good
team, but they're
season.
not going to be the worst.
A good season for Las Vegas would be 7 wins. That's a
I
good
agree.
season. That's a good season for
I've
Las Vegas.
honestly, I feel like they could win 5 games and that would be a good season. I feel like if they won seven, they'd be like, woo!
Well, for the second, I think this might be for the second week or no, I think it might be the first. I think we were talking about this during the weekend. Yeah, Ty Simpson really told us all to shut up. Like none of us were happy. None of us was that happy with the Ty Simpson draft pick. I think you were even more down than I was. I just didn't like the idea of like you're in a win now situation. You're more like Ty Simpson's never gonna be, well, not never. Ty Simpson's now a first round quarterback. He was the best
I really
quarterback.
didn't think so.
He probably was the best quarterback this week. 21 for 25, 190 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he's not going to be starting for the next 2 years. He's not going to see the
Yeah,
field for the next 2 years at least.
that's true. I mean, still, don't get me wrong. He obviously looked amazing. No one is going to dispute that, obviously. I mean, look at what he did. He looked incredible. But I still will sit on the hill of you're in a win now situation right now. Like you could have used a receiver or someone on defense. Like I still don't love the pick, but you know what? If he sits for 2 years and he becomes the next Patrick Mahomes with the Rams, more power to them. I just don't love the pick right now. Like I see the future potential. I just think they had bigger needs right now. But Sean McVay is Sean McVay, and he's a quarterback whisperer. So if there's anyone who can make Ty Simpson a high level starter in the league, it's probably him or
It's,
Shanahan.
it's like Sean McVay is Sean McVay. Also, we got Miles Garrett. Anyway, it's like,
Well,
yeah.
technically not yet.
But that trade had to be like in the works during the draft because that trade
I
happened
guess that's true.
like a few weeks or a month after the draft. That I'm saying it couldn't be a situation where like we called the night before with the trade. This wasn't a Luka Doncic situation. Yes, I'm bringing back to basketball, where you just make a trade and tell no one about it. But yeah,
That's
again,
true.
this
He
was
looked
a
good.
he looked really good. Again, maybe I got the idea of drafting a quarterback for your future when you have a veteran quarterback. I just personally would have gone with the win now approach and getting someone else. But
Me too.
if you get like a Miles Garrett kind of person, and if you're looking to get someone on defense, because they probably would use that draft pick on someone for defense, and at the end of the day, you get Miles Garrett like a month later, I'm like, okay, I guess that
I
makes sense.
guess we'll just be eating our words if he looks amazing in 2 years.
And the last quarterback, we saved the best for last.
Oh,
And
we did.
yeah,
Statistically,
not statistically, but in my heart.
in your
10,
heart.
10 for 13, 153 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a rushing touchdown for Drew Aller. So, yeah,
How does that make you feel? Warm and
it
fuzzy inside?
it makes me feel like 15 years. I just think 15 years of Ben, 15 years of Adler. Oh, this is
Not to jump ahead of yourself or
not to jump ahead
anything.
of myself, but we just had a Hall of Fame induction, so maybe Adler. No,
I actually inducted him into the Hall of Fame in my mind right now. So,
obviously I'm joking, but when I
hey,
when my brother texted me like Al tearing it up, and I'm just like I don't care. And then a few hours later, I looked at the highlights. I watched like the highlights of the game, like just like don't get excited, don't get excited. It's just a preseason, and I'm back in my mind like, did we find the quarterback of the future? Did we find the guy for the future? And then you realize he's still technically the fourth string quarterback on the roster. He's not even guaranteed. He's not guaranteed a roster spot. He's getting a roster spot at this point. He just
imagine
had
they cut him off the team.
if
Would you shed an actual tear?
he just I was I don't even know what I'll do if they just like, what? Nah, we're good with Mason Rudolph
Daniel would
and
be like, so I'm a Colts fan now.
yeah, I'm a free agent. It'd be like the Mavericks and the Luca. Like I'm a free agent at this point. I'm winning,
Yeah.
just like yeah, I'm rooting for whoever. But no,
Well,
like
hey, yeah, I mean, a couple of notes. For one, his last touchdown that he threw to Riley Nowakowski was the Indiana tight end on the national championship winning team. So, yeah, go Riley. So
yeah,
that was exciting. And then, honestly, there were a lot of people that were really low on Drew Aller, especially after last year. Not only because, number one, he didn't look good before he got injured at Penn State, then he got injured at Penn State and he didn't play the rest of the year. And a lot of people were low on him.
yeah,
But before he started
I
playing
was one of
worse,
them.
before he got hurt, and then before he got hurt, the year before, I was pretty high on him. Like I was like, I think this dude's gonna go in the first round. And then he got hurt, and that obviously tanked it. But I've been watching Drew Aller tear up the Big Ten for like 3 years. the dude is talented. Like I've honestly been high on him ever since he started on Penn State. I always liked him. So honestly, it wouldn't shock me if he came into the league and was good because I think he has talent. And I mean, obviously, like I said, you can't read too much into it because it's not against starters, blah blah blah. But going out here and doing this in your first game as a fourth string quarterback with backups is pretty impressive. I mean, so I've always liked him. I'm not one of those people that was like, oh, that's a waste of a pick. He's injury prone. Like I was like, okay, like I can see what they're trying to do here. Like I like him a lot, actually.
Yeah, you can only play who's in front of your face. You like
Hmm.
he tore up on the field. He looked really good. He looked like, and it's the same thing I say with Fernando. Fernando's stats weren't the best, were not, they were good, but they weren't great. But it was the fact that he didn't look overwhelmed, and which really impressed me. And Al was not even
Yep.
like, well, Al was a he was a day two pick. He wasn't even like a
Yes.
yeah.
He was a day two pick. I think he was fourth round.
And the fact that, because I remember when the right before the college football season last year, it was Arch Manning, Aller. Did like this is the quarterback. There's like so many quarterbacks. This is like the lead into this next season. Like, oh, the year the quarterback and all that stuff. And Aller just didn't do well, and then he got injured, like you said. And Penn State struggled the entire season. They fired a coach,
Fired James Franklin. Now
and
he's at
they
Virginia Tech.
like it was the season from Hiffle for Penn State.
Hey, I personally really enjoyed IU's game against Penn State. I don't know about you, but
Oh Lord. So yeah, we have between Ty Simpson, Drew. You say Allah. I say Allah. That might just, is that a dialect thing or am I just mispronouncing it?
it might be a dialect thing. Honestly, I'm gonna have to look it up. So if I am mispronouncing it, I will correct it for the future, everyone. Don't
Then
flame me.
then we got Fernando, and then we got Carson Beck had a great Hall of Fame game, and so yeah, it's like again the rookies. They don't look overwhelmed. They look like they know what they're doing, and we trash talk at least two of them in terms of Simpson and Beck, but
And
I
Richardson.
well,
Let's be honest.
Richardson's not a rookie. I don't count. He's
I
not.
know, but I'm talking about who we're trash talking.
Yeah, I'm still not. You, I guess you've seen him more, but you're also more emotional because you want him to be so good. I'm not ready to throw out the 6'4" quarterback who can move around and has a rocket arm. If the biggest issue with him is terms of just getting more games underneath his belt and some
Well,
accuracy problems.
the problem is I don't think that's his biggest issue. I think his biggest issue is work ethic, which we saw on full display last year. He's also injury prone, which he can't help. That's just the nature of how he plays. But I think the biggest issue is work ethic. I mean, when he took himself out of the game, it was like, dude, like everyone's been down on him almost since then, except delusional Colts fans who are still in love with him.
Yeah.
That
How
was
much?
just a bad look. Not that he can't recover from it, because he certainly can. If
Oh
he
yeah.
comes out, plays well the rest of the preseason, becomes QB2, Daniel Jones gets hurt, goes out there and wins everyone's hearts again. It's not to say he can't come back from that, but that was a very, very poor look, if we're being honest.
Like he got injured last year on like an exercise ban. It was just
It was his
ridiculous.
eye injury.
It was like
Who injures their eye? Who?
actually a lot of players, probably mostly
With
basketball
an
players.
exercise band?
No, that's the thing. It's the fact
Football
that
players?
it's the fact that you injured your eye, not even in the game. You injured it working out.
Bro,
I
that is something
I
that would
say
happen
that
to me
I say
as an
that
average Joe.
that's the thing. I say that as someone who has injured his eye in the past working out.
Wow.
Yeah.
Twins. No, literally, that is something that would happen to me as an average Joe person that just gets randomly hurt all the time. That would be an injury I would sustain, not an NFL caliber player.
Well, you know what?
I can't. I cannot.
They're
I
just like
can't.
us. Football players are
I
just like
mean,
us.
they are. I guess that's true. An eye injury. Like, it must have been freaking hard, dude. I mean, he fractured what, his orbital bone? That's like under your eyebrow, I think, or something. Dude, that probably had to hurt so freaking bad. I really have empathy, but it's just like looking back, it's like an eye injury of all
Yeah.
the injuries, not a knee or an ankle or, an Achilles, an eye injury.
Yeah. Yeah. Life is funny that way, and life can be painful that way. But
Literally and figuratively.
but let's keep our eye on the ball to what everyone's here for, which is our predictions and see how far we stray by the end of the season. I think yeah, you won the. I think we split for the regular season, and then you won for the postseason. We just do our little contest. Um, so yeah, we're doing our NFC preseason predictions, which is basically we're judging who wins the division and the three wildcard teams
In the regular season, not in the preseason.
postseason. But
Or yeah, in the going into the postseason.
we do preseason predictions.
Don't worry,
Who
we're not doing preseason rankings, guys. Don't worry.
the only championship Cleveland will win. Um,
Probably. Or the Jets. But that's for
yeah,
next week.
yeah, that's been spoilers. We're not picking Cleveland or Jets to go far.
That's a shocker, I'm sure.
But yeah, we have our preseason predictions for the NFC playoff picture. And if I have this correct, we have in terms of division winners, we have one change because we both have the Eagles win the NFC East. We both have the Saints win the NFC South, despite the
I
fact that
think the South is interesting, though. Honestly, I think anyone could win it because they're all mid.
despite the fact, but I was saying like Jordan Tyson, he's out with a hamstring. I think it's a hamstring thing for like 2 months, so that's going to hurt. That's going to hurt them. But I still think they take the South.
File that away from my fantasy draft. My
Yeah.
three fantasy drafts.
Oh Lord, I don't even want to count how many I'm going to have. And we have the Rams and NFC West. It's that and how much money we got to put in those leagues too. We
Oh
now
dear.
now we have the biggest change is the North. I have the Lions having a bounce back year. You have the Bears
Go
repeating as
Bears.
champion. Repeat. Oh my goodness.
You walked right into that one. I mean, come
I
on.
I forgot. No, what
I'm
we have
even wearing Bears colors.
we have and I'm wearing Lions colors technically. I'm pretty sure I'm wearing the same shirt I wore last week. I need to do laundry. We have the line. We have Chicago, or soon to be, what is it? Whatever say they're moving to India.
Hammond.
The Hammond the Hammond Bears. So yeah, I guess what's the biggest difference between like you picking the Bears? Because I can already tell why I don't think Chicago's going to win the division. It's just like last year to
You
me
don't
was
even
just
have them in a wild card.
spoilers. Um,
Spoilers. Only
yeah,
spoiling one, but
I just feel like they had like a lot of luck last year, and the fact is. I like Caleb, but I don't love Caleb. Caleb still has a lot of development to do. I think JJ McCartney had a higher passer rate on passing completion percentage, not passing. Lord knows not passer rating, completion percentage than Caleb. Um, and I do think the Lions kind of had a bit of a season from Hiffle. They struggled in terms of injuries. They struggled in terms of just bad luck. I hope that I'm not gonna say I hope. Dan Campbell's still gonna be crazy riverboat Dan Campbell, but I think the dice is gonna roll up on this side of it this year more. So I do have the Lions having a bit of a bounce back year, having a bit of a renaissance year. And I do think Chicago comes to earth because last year was so insane. Last year was just the Pope got like the Pope from Chicago was in the bag and say everyone's riding this giant high. And I'm like, this has to stop at some point, and it kept going to the playoffs. So I don't think they're gonna be a bad team. I do think they come back down to earth.
yeah, no, I mean, that's fair. I mean, I guess the reasons I'm not picking the Lions, I don't love that they lost David Montgomery. Obviously, I think that, Sonic and Knuckles. Now it's only Sonic. Sad. I don't think that Montgomery, he stole a lot of touchdowns from Sonic fans, so people were not happy about that. But he did make their offense more dynamic, so I don't love that loss. They lost their starting center to retirement, then had to go out and get a new guy, so don't love that. Obviously, I think that they're still talented. I mean, I hope Jameson Williams can stay healthy, but he has injury concerns. Obviously, their tight end is coming back, Laporta, from an injury. So they're coming off a lot of injuries. Not to say that that will handicap them necessarily, but I do think it's something to consider. In regards to the Bears, you could kind of say the same thing. I mean, they lost DJ Moore, right? Or they traded him away to
Yeah.
the Bills. Which, by the way, that is a sleeper in fantasy for the Bills. DJ Moore, file it away, guys. So don't love that loss. However, I think that the offense is going to be pretty good. I think Luther Burden is going to take a step forward. I really like Rome Odunze. I think that their tight end, Colston Loveland, could arguably be a top 5 tight end in football this year. I think he's really good. Their O line is decent. Now, I will say, the only thing that will kill them are all the injuries that they're dealing with on defense. Like they have suffered some pretty significant secondary injuries, so they are going to have to overcome that if they want to win the North, which is going to be hard to do because it's a competitive division. I mean, the Vikings are not a pushover. Like the Vikings are decent. The Packers are not a pushover. The Packers are decent. This is arguably the best division in football. So, I mean, honestly, it wouldn't shock me if any of the four teams came out of this division, except maybe the Vikings. But even if the Vikings did, like if Kyler Murray was in the right system and lit it up, I mean, that's a really good division. So their defense, they're going to have to either fortify it or they're going to have some guys step up. But I think Caleb Williams is going to look really good this year. I think he has potential to be a top five quarterback statistically in the second year of Ben Johnson's offense or the third year. I think it's the second year. Third year? Is it the third year? Second year. Yeah. So I think that he'll continue to improve in that. And they still have a good running game. They have a lot of, diversity with their running backs, guys who can do different things. So I like that. I like the Bears. And, they came off a high last year. They had crazy comeback finishes. If you're a Bears fan, you probably want to see less of those. You probably don't want to see as many of those because those were stressful. But I like them. I think the Bears are a real sleeper to potentially make the Super Bowl.
Oh wow, you go all the way to wherever the Super Bowl's held this year. I forgot where the Super Bowl's
I
held.
have no idea. I know it's not in Indianapolis.
Okay, well we nailed it down to 31 other teams, 31 other
Happy
cities.
to help.
Oh. Well, yeah, well, I guess we go straight to a wild card. And the teams we both have the team that won this past Super Bowl, Seattle, in the probably going to be the top wild card spot, which is us basically saying
I
that
think they take a step back, honestly.
well, I think yeah, losing K9 hurts, losing like just another year of just the fact. Well, you say step,
Charbonnet is also out the whole year.
but you say take a step back. I look at it more as the Rams just got Myles Garrett, and the Rams I think were what one unlucky play away from both winning the division, getting the number one seed, and potentially hosting the championship game instead of having to travel to Seattle. I think those two teams are very even and close to each other, but I do think Rams took a massive step forward. And I think that's the reason they take it over Seattle. I still have San Francisco just because luck. Like they at this point, I believe them fall off a cliff and they'll still win at least 10 games. Like they'll literally the entire
Possible.
team will fall off a cliff and they'll still somehow
Except
win 10 games.
McCaffrey.
But no, then McCaffrey is just like just sleeping in his bed and just strains his back or something because he's like, just why not?
He's gonna fracture his orbital bone.
Oh Lord. And my last wildcard team may come as a shock. I really like Minnesota. Now, why do I like them? Strictly for one reason. I don't think Kyler Murray is a bad quarterback. I don't think he's a great quarterback, but I seen but that Vikings team, that Vikings coaching staff took Kirk Cousins to his peak. Sam Darnold made him to a superstar and then to a Super Bowl winner. And even with JJ McCartney, they still were a 500 team, which is saying a lot.
That's true. That's true.
I think Kyler Murray is a good quarterback. I think with that in that scheme and with those weapons around him, they're going to have a very dynamic offense. It's just be. I know Jefferson's just be so happy to have someone get him the ball. And even if
So
he
will fantasy owners.
and I could have used him last year. Um, and even knock on wood, if he goes down, I do think Carson Wentz is probably one of the better backups in the league. And the offense ran very well with Wentz as the starter for a few weeks. He's gonna throw you occasional dumb pick into triple coverage, but he's also going to be able to move the ball down the field if he has to. So I do think it's crazy. The two NFC North teams that missed the playoffs, I have making the playoffs, and two NFC North teams that just made the playoffs, I have to get out the playoffs because I do think lose Michael Parsons missing like the first half or third of a season will hurt Green Bay. That whole situation with the coaching staff is still like LaFleur still like on that 1 year deal doesn't help them. So yeah, those are my wildcard teams, and I have one shock wildcard team, and you also have one shock wildcard team.
Yeah, I mean, we both have Seahawks. I think that that is reasonable. I do think they take a step back this year, though. I don't love that they lost K9, and I don't know if I foresee Jackson Smith and Jigba having as good of a season as he had last year. I mean, that was like a really good season. I think he'll still be good, but I don't know if he's going to put quite those numbers up. So I think they take a step back, but I don't think they take a step back so much that they don't make the playoffs. I just don't think that they're as dominant as they were last year, but I think they still make it. I have the Lions making it as a wild card. I still do like the Lions, regardless of what I said earlier. I think they have a lot of talent. Um, I like Jared Goff on that team. He operates that offense decently well. Amon-Ra is obviously a dog. I mean, you obviously have Sonic on that team. So you have a lot to look forward to. And Dan Campbell will just like bite people's kneecaps. So, I mean, you
Yeah.
got to let them in the playoffs.
Man
And
Campbell.
then, yeah, Dan Campbell. And then for my surprise team, really, if you listened at all to the pod last season, this really shouldn't be that surprising to you. But I have the Giants. Now, I was really high on the Giants last year, and they suffered a lot of injuries, and that kind of derailed and killed their season. I think that they had a good draft. I like their defense that they picked up. I think Cam Scatterbo will come back. Now, he will probably only have a 3 year career, but he will make the most of it, and he will do good. Tyrone Tracy might be cut off the team after letting that free rusher smack Jackson Dart around in their first preseason game, but I still like him. I think Jackson Dart takes a step forward. Like, I really do like him. The team has Odell now. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not saying that that's the reason they're going to win.
But Malik
But
Neighbors,
hopefully
but Neighbors
hopefully
looks like he's
Malik
gonna play.
Neighbors comes back, so I like that. I really like their tight ends this year. And then their defense, defense is kind of always a toss up, but they took Arvell Reese, right? Or is that the Jets? Did the Jets take Reese or was it the Giants? I think it was the Giants, right?
Yeah, the Giants.
Yeah, yeah. So I really liked him. I don't I think I could see the Giants winning 9 games and sneaking into the playoff. Potentially, probably wouldn't be less than that because I think there are other teams that are going to be right there. But I like the Giants. If Jackson Dart can stay healthy, which unfortunately there kind of is a narrative around him that he's unhealthy, which is
Big if.
literally not the case. He's been in the blue tent 6 times and he's been like prescribed with exactly 1 concussion. He himself said in his post-game interview that he thinks the league is targeting him. And honestly, I don't really disagree because this is crazy.
I love it.
Like,
Like I love no, but I love this saying. Like he is healthy. He's just been a blue tent 6 times, and this is
no,
coming to
I
his
was
second
I
year.
was listening to WFAN this morning and they were saying that the total amount of times that Patrick Mahomes has been in the blue tent over the course of his entire career is like 7 times. Jackson Dart has been in the blue tent like 6 times in his first half season that he played when he wasn't hurt. That is crazy. And he's only had 1 concussion. So maybe just let the boy live his life, okay? But I like the Giants. I think that they'll be the last wild card. I don't think they're going to like get the top wild card seed or anything, but I could see them sneaking in. I think they have talent.
Well, we can't wait till week 2 of preseason, and can't wait till the season to happen to see how wrong we are about everything. None of our predictions are going to be correct. But when that happens, you can come here and laugh at us, and Chelsea tell us where they can come and laugh at our bad takes.
Yeah, so thanks for listening. Tune back in next week for a new episode. In the meantime, follow us on our social media. We are on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at Launch Codes Football, on Twitter/X at Launch Codes FB, and we are actively growing our chat BCC football community. So if you are interested in joining during the preseason and talking all things football before the season starts up, hit us up via our socials or text us if you know us, and we will get you that link. In the meantime, I'm Chelsea,
I'm Daniel,
and we will see you next week.
and I will wait for that Drew Aller jersey.